Hello, and welcome back to Cheers Kevin Reads. Today, we're talking books. We're talking one specific book, and a book that I'm very excited to talk to you about, Helldivers by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. The Helldivers Trilogy #1. This is a thing that I don't entirely understand. I guess the publisher has agreed to publish two other books. This story could stand well on its own. And so I go and I'm like, well, it's the only one that's published. Why then just be like, oh, it's the first of a trilogy? I don't know. I would rather the trilogies happen in retrospect, but that's a whole other discussion. Let's talk about this book. This is, I guess, Snowpiercer meets Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica associations are legion. World War III has basically made Earth uninhabitable. Not a fun place to be. The only surviving humans are on two airships. You get into the colony ship sci-fi type of stuff. This is where a lot of, like, within the first hour of the book, I was like, oh, the Battlestar Galactica. Usually frustrates me when I'm like, oh, but I want to imagine this as its own universe. But I'm like, you know what? Battlestar Galactica is awesome. This reminded me of more military episodes. In addition to there being these two airships, there is a team of people whose job it is to basically just dive off of the ship and scrounge around Earth for supplies, and then zoom back up and bring the supplies back to the ship. Most of them don't last very long. It was either like 5 or 15 jumps was like the average for these types of missions. This is how the colony survives, they just go and they scrounge, and they've been traveling around the Earth trying to find some place that they can set down where things could be remotely habitable, not coming up with anything. The planet's pretty much decimated. These are the two lifeboats that are just up in the air. The author does a fair bit to try and pseudo-fantasy sci-fi logic that, oh, well, there's helium, and we're curating helium to buoy the ship, so it's sustainable, sort of, but still needs supplies in a way that at least makes sense within the confines of the story. But as far as the Battlestar Galactica references, you mention an XO, and so you hear that a lot in Battlestar Galactica. Like, okay, well, let's start thinking about that. Captain Ash, the CEO captain of the Hive, which is one of these two airships, has cancer. Which is not a spoiler, revealed like right at the beginning of the introduction of her character. Oh, okay, so this is Laura Wasson on Battlestar Galactica, and there's an XO, and then there's tensions with people on the lower decks and civil unrest between the military and the high class and the low class. And you're like, oh, so it's, yeah, this is exactly Battlestar Galactica. But it's also a Snowpiercer as well. Taking place on Earth, there's been some apocalyptic event. You're still sort of interacting with your Earth. X is the other character that is our eye into these divers. They encounter some weird creature monster things on the planet. And that's all I'm going to say without spoiling for you. I really love this book. Under normal circumstances, I think I would enjoy it less just because there's so much Battlestar Galactica just going on in my brain when I'm reading this book. That should mean, well, this isn't a new thing. This is just renewing a thing. But no, I think that this brings a lot new to the table. There are some character relationships I thought could have been done a little bit more. This is a shorter book. I would gladly read something twice the length. I would read like a Sanderson epic fantasy length version of this story that could do more world building about what it is like for humanity to exist solely on an airship. Most of the world building had to be shoehorned in there. There was not a ton of time to set aside for that. Part of that is just the pacing. This is more of a thriller type novel, and because it is a trilogy, I am excited to read the other two books. Now, I haven't read anything else by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. I probably should go back and fix that. Also, it's narrated on Audible by R.C. Bray, who narrated The Martian and is just one of my favorite people. Just fantastic. Him and Luke Daniels. Kate Mulgrew has actually just surprised me with, oh my god, you're really good at this as well. I don't even think that I have thoughts that are particularly spoiler heavy, so I don't need to do any sort of warning. I'm just going to tell you, I love this book. I think you should read this book, and I think you will enjoy it, though certainly there are two more books that have to come out. If you're not the type of person that likes waiting to read the rest of the trilogy, then maybe hold off a little bit. Especially if you were the type of person that saw Snowpiercer and enjoyed it. Not a lot of people seem to have seen that movie, but it was very good. Or you enjoy the rebooted Battlestar Galactica series, or generally enjoy sort of colony ship style sci-fi. This is a book for you. Definitely 2 thumbs up. If you read the book, let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to completely disagree. Other than that, I will see you next week with another review, or maybe something else. I don't know. Are you guys enjoying the review? Should I try and switch things up with other BookTubey things? I don't buy a lot of stuff, so I'm not exactly sure, like, what. But if you have suggestions for that, leave a note in the comments, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Cheers.